On this episode of Money Matters with Jim Doyle, Being in Business, Things No One Tells You, featuring guest Felix Böck of ChopValue, with Victor Yoshida, John Clarides, and Vikram Vij. Plan more, worry less. This is Money Matters with Jim Doyle.
It might be a bit simplistic, but you don't know what you don't know. Bootstrapping a business from inception can leave business owners focusing on sales and maybe not paying enough attention to the back end of the business. Welcome. Being in business, there are things no one tells you. Throw 9 to 5 out the door. Welcome to logistics and a big list of obstacles to overcome. Working with professionals like a lawyer, your accountant, and financial planner can be an interesting exercise as you consider what you want. Many busy business owners are tempted to hire the first referral they get without first exploring how they operate, what services they can provide, and if they are a good fit for your business style. Starting a new business from scratch can be daunting, and starting a new business with a new product is not for the faint of heart. Let's meet a business owner who did just that.
ChopValue is a circular economy franchise that recycles chopsticks and turns them into new engineered materials and beautiful new products. It all starts with your community. So you involve your stakeholders from the recycling stage. Let it be end consumers or restaurant partners or hotels. We provide them with bins, and we pick up once or twice a week these chopsticks from our route. Our staff is picking them up because that's our raw material for the process. 350,000 chopsticks enter our facility every single week, and then they go through our production process. So they have to get aligned and sorted. After that, they get dipped into a water-based performance resin coming from the automotive industry. Then they get dried to be all on the same moisture content in that dryer, to be crisp and dry in preparation to become a new engineered material. And that engineered material is produced in a hydraulic hot press that we designed. And from there you have that raw tile that is then being cut and planed and formatted and sanded into all sorts of new beautiful home decor product that we're creating. How it started for me was really just a passion for the new material. So I wanted to create this new beautiful material, and it just happened to be a really unique story because I chose the chopstick as my resource that can tell the story of underutilized resources. I started from the background of how can I create a really high valuable performance material out of something crazy. And that crazy is a very relatable story. And then you have to start one chopstick at a time, where we went from restaurant to restaurant. The first 10 restaurants give you kind of a sense for the volume of material out there. The first 100 restaurants make you believe it's feasible. The first 300 partners makes it scalable. And then you think about the responsibility you have about expansion. Because imagine it works in your city, where you now know your community, where you now know the perception of your brand. How do you scale that across North America? And that's where we asked ourselves, are we building the next mass factory, or are we expanding globally but local? So with our local microfactory concept, we can now open these units in every city where there's underutilized waste, just like chopsticks.
When we come back, we'll have Felix Böck join us.
If I would have just the slightest accounting skills, I think I would have avoided many mistakes I made early on.
Welcome back. We're now joined by Felix Böck. Felix, when we were talking earlier, I think you might have referred to yourself as a reluctant entrepreneur. Would you like to expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, if you're just doing your job, you're not really used to calling yourself an entrepreneur. I often say I'm just a doer. I like I love the term talk less, say more, or just follow your actions, and as long as you set your mind to it, get on with it. And that's why I feel like when we had the initial conversation, I was a little reluctant in actually admitting that I guess many would call me an entrepreneur.
Now I want to talk to you a bit about owning your vision like nobody else's business.
Yeah, I guess that's what's expected from you. So when your own idea is not only your own anymore, but you actually have to kind of motivate a team, expand that idea into an implementation of a new thing, then you kind of have to form your vision to get the troops rally behind you and kind of keep everyone on the same page and motivated and inspired. So yeah, owning my vision is pretty important to get through the daily challenges and set milestones, work towards the bigger goals. And in our case, it's pretty simple. It's creating a circular economy, one chopstick at a time.
Now I got to steal a quote from you. I think you might have said, "Don't sell something that doesn't solve a problem." What problem does your product solve?
Yeah, well, I learned that the hard way. That's why I think I brought that up, because it was one of the biggest critique points. When I started ChopValue manufacturing, I solved a problem with all the waste that we have in our urban environment, and I wanted to tell that inspiring story of recycling chopsticks and kind of lead by example. But that problem didn't really make me money. Or the first products that we developed, which were like some coasters and some wall decor, that wasn't really solving any customer's problem per se. But I feel like now the responsibility has become much bigger. So the problem we're actually solving is, an educational problem.
Join us as Alyson Jones shares business skills she wishes she had learned earlier in life.
Alyson, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thank you. Nice to be here.
So what might be one skill you wish you learned earlier in your business life?
I think for myself, it would have been that I learned to focus a little bit more on my goals, my strategic plan, and because I believe I did get distracted at times by maybe the needs of other people. And sometimes I think it's a bit having that courage to just drive through what those goals are.
So Felix, I'm going to ask you, what business skills do you wish you had learned earlier on?
Yeah, I think that's the tough million-dollar question that we could probably talk about hours of my blind spots and my gaps that I have in my business education. I think if you're starting a business as a doer or as an engineer like me, you're focused on the product. You're passionate about material engineering, the design aspect of it, the problem you solve. But I wish I would know more about financing or money, as I'm on the show Money Matters. I mean, if I would have just the slightest accounting skills, I think I would have avoided many mistakes I made early on.
Now, Felix, I got to put you on the spot a little bit with this one. Do you have a little story to share with us that kind of lets us know what was going on in your world?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, as you scale your business, out of one customer become 10, out of 10 customers become 100, and then maybe within these first 100 customers, there's one big customer. So you're running into the risk of actually working for a big customer and you're not planning your cash flow properly. You're not understanding yet the what payment cycles look like and how much money you actually have to put in to produce a certain product or project, and the time it takes to actually get paid for it. And that's honestly what gets young business owners in trouble and in a lot of tight spots where you're realizing it's getting really tight at the end of the month because you still haven't gotten paid for the great work you've done. Felix,
some of those basic accounting skills, we hear a lot about it. So essential. We'll be right back.
In order to be focused, you need to actually communicate to your team your vision.
Welcome back. I understand that you are a wood engineer by training, okay? Probably gives you exceptional knowledge about your product. I have to ask you, Where did your business skills come from?
Yeah, I often ask myself that. I think maybe it started when I was 6 years old and I started selling my first cowbells to tourists that hiked past our cabin in the German Alps, but that might not be it. I think it's good intuition and a healthy common sense, and then a really, really good support network around me that allows me to scale that intuition and kind of add to my soft skills, my hard skills about business.
Now, Felix, I work with a lot of business owners that are great doers, okay, but they're not necessarily numbers people, okay? Would that look anything like your situation?
I feel like as an engineer, you're good on an 85 percentile, so you have a really good feeling.
Very good engineer answer, yes.
Exactly, right? So you have an understanding that even if you build in a few safety factors, you're going to be okay. But when it comes to proper accounting rules, and that's the scale we're hitting now with a global expansion and thinking about tax implications, cross-border, international business practices, all that's where I obviously need to support.
So Felix, we're going to take you through a series of short video clips, and we'd love to get your feedback on being in business, things no one tells you. But up first, let's hear from Victor Yoshida as he talks about tomorrow's business owners and the skills that they're going to need to succeed.
Victor, in your experience, where does today's business owner need the most help?
Every business owner does have strengths and weaknesses, and the ability to identify those and to reach out. And like I said, there are a lot of resources available, whether it's your accountant or your lawyer, your financial planner, or even, like I said, through various associations. Even the banks have a lot of programs available for small business.
And so for tomorrow's business owners, what essential skills do you think they need?
Communication. Communication is a very important skill to have because you're talking with your clients, you're talking with your staff members. You have to have a clear and effective communication skill. Another skill that's very important is being focused. In business, there's a lot of ups and a lot of downs, and it's a skill to try and keep on track. You don't want to get too down and too low, and you have to realize that that is a part of business.
Any of that ring true in your world?
Well, I love how Victor actually repeated one of the previous comments about focus, right? So I think many people don't relate to that term enough, that in order to be focused, you need to actually communicate to your team your vision. And that kind of ties together on what I believe, what not only me, but also other younger business owners need to succeed is purpose within your team, so that you communicate properly your values and everyone can pull on the same strings to make something happen.
So join us as John Cluridis shares his thoughts on the power of business groups.
Key is building up a network of trusted associates. So whether it's you're joining a business group, a mastermind group, some type of business group that have people in there that have had that experience. So say if you're younger starting a business, there's people in their 40s or 50s, they'll be able to guide you, give you advice, or maybe you want to do business with them. That will help you a tremendous amount.
Now, Felix, your business has an international component. Could you share with us your thoughts on the importance of joining business groups?
Yeah, I think it's each stage of your business requires a different support group around you, and you're not realizing this until later on, because what I often get approached on is like these early stage entrepreneurs, year one or maybe just before inception, that reach out for advice, and it's more that initial motivation or that initial push they need to get something started. But if you're in year 3, 4, or 5 and you're growing, as you said, internationally, you're obviously you're kind of exceeding or outgrowing local resources of business groups. So you kind of pick and choose from the advice you can get for specific areas where you're experiencing challenges or more rapid growth than you can handle yourself. And that's what you have to focus on. So in my case, I have, fortunately, a number of people around me that, depending on what challenge I'm going through or what topic I need to discuss or work through or strategy to develop, that I can reach out and work with.
Felix, it's so critical to get the right advisors involved with helping you in your business. Up next, Vikram Vij talks to us about taking risks in business.
You know, if you play your cards right, and sometimes you don't get the right cards in your hand, and you lose, it's okay. Then just brush yourself and walk away and say, okay, a lot of money is gone, let's regroup ourselves, reevaluate, and get back on it. So a lot of people lose heart because they're like, oh my God, I lost this money, and then I'm not going to bother risking it again. I am that risk taker. I am okay with, like, because I came empty-handed into this country. God has given me so much. This land has given me so much. This country has given me so much. These people have given me so much. I mean, I'm humbled and honored to be part of this culture. The fact that you're interviewing me is a huge honor. So I don't view success as how much money you have. I view success as how many people say Vikram Vij changed the way I approach things in life.
So Vikram talks about taking risk and losing heart with when things go bad. How do you view success?
Yeah, Vikram is right. There's a common there's a commonality between visionaries or entrepreneurs that success is not measured in money. It's measured what you kind of leave behind or what you empower your team to accomplish. That's how I see it as well. I think one thing that I can resonate with really well is I'm an entrepreneur who started from zero. So it's really good to remind yourself every single day of which steps you have taken to get where you are today, and then kind of redefine the success along the way. And that's kind of a natural progression. You're never really satisfied with the next milestone you hit. You're always on the next path. So I guess it takes a good team around you to remind you of the success. It also takes a good team around you to remind them and motivate them of the success that they've created, but then immediately kind of switch gears and reach for the next goal.
So I've heard a story about a certain business owner that suggests, I got a level of success. No, I can't have that. I need a new goal. Has that been your world?
Maybe, yeah. It does sound very, familiar on, like if we actually talk about the word and the term success, how we feel. And to us, success is only achieved if we, have left a better footprint on the environment and have actually all our impact measures in place, and others have seen us as a leadership example and do similar good things with business.
Leaving a great environment behind? We'll be right back.
Making the commitment that every single dollar you have as a bootstrap business, you're putting into your idea.
Welcome back. Felix, your business has an international component. Could you share with us your thoughts about joining a business advisory group?
As of today, I still don't have a formal advisory board, but I've been able to count on many specific advisors along the way. We are just now getting started to form a special advisory board, because I think it's really, really important for your entire team to actually have a chance to tap into these resources.
Can we talk about those early days of learning from a fire hose?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it started with, the crazy chopstick guy starting off with this, little idea and hiring his first 2 employees of Craigslist. And, that was an experience itself, all the way to making the commitment that every single dollar you have as a bootstrap business, you're putting into your idea with the conviction that it will work. And at the beginning, you're not listening to anyone who probably gives you healthy advice that it might not work. So I guess that is the summary of the first, 90 days, maybe the first year. So you hear definitely more no's and more this can't be possible or can't work than encouragement.
Felix, marrying an environmental perspective with a business purpose, what a nice way to do things. Felix has shared his thoughts on the power of vision and the importance of sticking to your vision through thick and thin. If the nature of being an entrepreneur is to take risk, then it follows that you need to be adept at responding to the unexpected. Working with professional advisors is essential as your business scales up, but it's also critical to understand how to use them as a resource and the inputs and contributions that they can offer to your planning needs. As a business advisor working with entrepreneurs, they're not always detail people. So make sure you have these people in your organization to ensure that things aren't overlooked. Being in business involves making mistakes, and it means learning from those mistakes. Those who master this are likely to achieve success in their business endeavors. Now, I wish we had more time. I want to thank Felix Böck, Alyson Jones, Victor Yoshida, John Clarides, and of course, Vikram Vij for sharing their thoughts on money matters. Because financial aspects touch so many elements of our lives, it pays to get great advice. Plan more, worry less.